Since it's your birthday, I brought you your favorite rapper.
Papa.
The new wave of modern hip-hop music heavily relies on cult fan bases. This is something we've been seeing since 2016, 2017-ish with artists like XXXTentacion and Playboi Carti. But in 2021, cult fan bases are still very much alive. Some artists that we've seen this year with cult fan bases just like that include guys like Josiah, DC the Don, Sofego, who he actually did a documentary on. Be sure to click it in the cards if you haven't checked that out already. And of course, Snot. Since 2019, Snot has been co-signed by Billie Eilish, been in like 5 Lyrical Lemonade videos, and most recently dropped a song with Lil Skies. With all this hype and attention coming his way, a lot of people want to know where he came from. So in this video, I've compiled all the information I could find about him online, spoke to some of his fans, and even spoke to one of his collaborators to be able to put together the pieces of the puzzle. As you can probably already tell, this video took a ton of time to put together, so it would be super appreciated if you guys could hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the hip-hop content that we're going to be dropping on this channel. We're trying to build a community of hip-hop fans from all over the world to be able to connect and, well, just talk about hip-hop. And to better build that connection, consider following us over on Instagram, where we post one piece of hip-hop content daily. Each piece of hip-hop content we post on there is 1 minute, so definitely go follow us on there. Promise you it'll be worthwhile. We're trying to think of the best way to let you guys communicate, so let me know in the comments if you guys are down for some group chats or discords or whatever. Definitely open to any idea. Anyways, with that being said, let's hop into the video. Snot was born Eddie Edward on December 16th in 1997 in New York, but his family moved around quite a bit. In the first few years of his life, Snot's family actually moved to Philadelphia for a bit. But by the time he turned 7 years old, his family actually moved to West Palm Beach, Florida. While growing up, he used to play a lot of video games and basketball with his brothers. He was actually pretty good at basketball and even thought he was going to the NBA at one point, but once he got to St. Lucia's High School, he abandoned that dream. In his early life, he had a very rich taste and bought a ton of expensive shoes, but he wasn't really getting his money all that legitimately. In Florida, scamming was a super popular thing to be doing, so Snot actually was scamming for a pretty long time until he realized he wanted to make clean money off of his music. After abandoning his basketball dream once he got to high school, he realized that he did in fact want to do music, and he realized that's kind of where his passion was at. He always hated school, so this seemed like it would be a more successful career path for him anyways. He listed like 10 or more artistic influences of his in the interviews that I watched, but the ones that stand out most to me in his music are Xavier Wolf, 3 6 Mafia, and Tyler the Creator. But anyways, to get back to the story, this is the point at which Snot started taking an interest in making music. So his boy Manny Sanchez, who was making his own music at the time, showed Snot how to start making his own. Snot started by recording on a USB microphone, and his music wasn't all that great according to him. The only song he ever really spoke about that he used that mic to make was a song Ecstasy that he actually deleted. But now we got the music down pat, let's talk a little bit about Snot's name. The reality of that is that there's no real significance to the name Snot. Finding his artist name was actually pretty easy because his handle on Instagram was already Snot, so we just rolled with it. But a little fun fact, originally he wanted to go by the name Lil Equinox and has said in interviews that he would consider changing it to Lil Equinox down the line. The early start of Snot's real success in the music industry was after his boy Manny bought a condenser mic, which actually skyrocketed the quality of his music. Snot's first real release came out on July 30th of 2016 with his song By Myself. Now there is a lot of haziness about Snot's career from 2016 to 2018 because there isn't a lot of information out there about him or his music from when he dropped By Myself until his album The Tissue Files. This is the point at which I had to speak to one of Snot's early collaborators. Now he did tell me that he wants to stay anonymous because he does make his own music and a lot of the time he's like kind of grouped together with Snot, but he gave me some intel. Now according to Patrick CC's YouTube video called The Curious Case of Snot, go check that out by the way if you haven't already, by the time of this first drop By Myself, he had about 86 followers on Instagram. Now keep in mind I don't have the technology to confirm or deny this source, but Patrick CC is pretty reliable when it comes to statistics in hip-hop, so I'm just gonna take his word for it. According to the collaborator of his that I got to speak with, he had about 10 to 20,000 followers on Instagram by the time he dropped his second song available on SoundCloud right now, Ice Cream. However, this song was dropped on September 26th of 2016, and my source tells me that Snot was very consistent with his music drops and deleted some of his older music. So he likely dropped some songs between By Myself and Ice Cream that he ended up deleting. In an interview, Snot said that the song Ice Cream only did about 700 streams on the first day, and he actually felt like a celebrity. Nonetheless, that means from his first drop on SoundCloud with his song By Myself, he went from 86 Instagram followers to 10 or 20,000 by the time he dropped Ice Cream. Now, I'm an artist manager myself, and I will tell you firsthand that it is extremely hard to see that kind of growth, regardless of whether or not he was dropping music between those two songs. By the way, go follow my artist Zuli over on Instagram. I promise you his music slaps, and his music will be in the outro of this video, so definitely check it out. But anyways, on a level of being able to build a fan base, Snot was brilliant. He used group chats so that he could connect the minimal amount of fans that he did have at the time, so that they can all kind of bond over the one common love that they have, which was the love of his music. So really, he kind of formed a community that all centered centered around him and his music. Very, very smart in my opinion. He would also just post really funny things on his Instagram, so it made him more personable. Now, I don't know all of Snot's promo strategies for his music, but I do know a couple of them. According to my source, who was a collaborator of Snot's, he actually put some of his music in I'm Dante's videos as paid promoted songs. And we all know I'm Dante, you know, he's going crazy in the YouTube world. So maybe I'm Dante is the key for artists to blow up, I'm not sure. Additionally, in an interview, Snot said that he promoted his third SoundCloud song out right now called Wavy as F, that dropped in November of 2016 on a YouTube channel called Hunter, I believe, or maybe it's Haunter, but he said that promotion drove him additional traction as well. But anyways, from 2016 to 2018, Snot stayed dropping music very consistently, and each song was met with more positive reception than the last, which is ultimately what built him his initial fan base. Now, with Snot consistently dropping music until summer of 2018, he had established a pretty large underground fan base that really rode for him. Now, just to give you a point of reference to give you an estimate of how large he was at the time, someone we can compare to Snot in 2018 is Summers right now, meaning he was getting in the tens of thousands of plays on his average songs on SoundCloud and in the hundreds of thousands for the really good ones. The reason why I make this comparison is because much like Summer currently does, Snot used to sell SoundCloud reposts. Someone he used to sell those reposts to was none other than Josiah. Josiah was a fan of Snot's, and eventually Snot became a fan of Josiah's, so they ended up collaborating on a song. The song they made together was called Case 19, and it dropped in the summer of 2018. And this song went absolutely crazy, not only for Josiah, who wasn't even that big of an artist at the time, but for Snot too. I'm pretty sure it was both of their first songs to hit 1 million streams on SoundCloud, and we all know if a song goes up on SoundCloud, the fan base goes up with it. So now Josiah and Snot both had growing fan bases. And as someone who has worked with multiple labels in the past, I can tell you that the label outreach to both Josiah and Snot at the time was probably ridiculous. And with this ridiculous label outreach, Josiah actually ended up signing to Atlantic Records. Now here's where a little blessing in disguise came about. Atlantic Records forced Josiah to remove the version of Case 19 with Snot on it, and they actually replaced him with a 6ix9ine feature. And this kind of led to some hostility between Josiah and Snot, which they both spoke about in a public forum. And ultimately, this is pretty good for Snot because the Josiah version of Case 19 with 6ix9ine on it premiered on WorldStar, so there was a bunch of new fans coming Josiah's direction, and then, you know, they'd go to the comment section and see, oh, I like the original with Snot more. So now these new fans of Josiah were also becoming fans of Snot. And I would consider this Snot's first mainstream look because he was getting so many new eyes on him, which caused his fan base to grow even more. With all this new attention of Snot's beef with Josiah, he kept making music and things were going pretty well. He dropped like 2 or 3 songs after Case 19, leading to what would be one of his biggest hits to date, Gosha. He wrote Gosha one day at 4 a.m. while feeling super sick, and he actually stopped recording like halfway through so that he could go to sleep. But when he woke up, he decided to preview the song on his Instagram story, and his fans were going absolutely crazy. And in response to how crazy they were going over the song, he decided to drop the song the next day. The numbers stayed rising on Gosha in terms of streaming for about a month until he decided to drop the video on a YouTube channel called Elevator. For those of you who don't know what Elevator is, it's a YouTube channel that premieres music videos with close to 2 million subscribers at the time of this recording. Being given access to this 2 million subscriber audience, I don't know what it was at the time though, in addition to the SoundCloud fanbase he already had, really allowed him to step up. We will come back to Gosha soon, but there are a couple more parts to the story that I need to kind of get in there, so just bear with me. In February of 2019, Snot put out a song called Excuse Me, which was going absolutely insane and all of his fans loved it. The song sampled a popular song by Pink Martini and the Von Traps entitled Le Premier Bonheur du Jour, which translates from French to the first good time of the day. The group Pink Martini is one that focuses primarily on like classical and jazz music, and it's a group that was formed in 1994 according to their Wikipedia page. Being an older, more classical band, they weren't really fans of Snot's use of the sample with lyrics like, "Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, but is that your and no amount of money would change their opinion on Snot's use of their sample for his song. As a result, they forced Snot to take down Excuse Me permanently, so it completely and totally killed the buzz of one of Snot's most successful songs to that point in time. Fast forward a few months and Snot was having an awful day in April of 2019, which made sense because at this point, 2 of his biggest songs to that point in time had been taken down. But anyways, the day started off really poorly until he started getting a bunch of DMs and tags from his fans blowing up his phone non-stop. As it turned out, Billie Eilish had posted an Instagram story where she she was listening to one of Snot's songs, more particularly Gosha. According to Snot, even though Billie Eilish didn't tag him in the story, he actually went up about 10,000 followers from that story alone. But that's really not even where the cosigns stop. In June of 2019, a show executively produced by Drake starring Zendaya called Euphoria was about to air, and Snot's song Billy Boy was actually placed in the pilot episode. I include this in the cosigns portion of this video because if Drake was an executive producer, he probably would have had to sign off on the music being used for the pilot episode, so we can call it a Drake cosign, and that's a pretty big deal in my opinion. Throughout the rest of 2019, he kept moving forward, kept steadily growing, but there wasn't anything crazy that kind of shook his fan base and made it explode. However, in the end of March of 2020, he dropped his first studio album entitled Tragedy. Now, this dropped, I believe, on March 6th of 2020. I may be wrong, let me know in the comments. But he was actually supposed to do a full tour to promote this album with Josiah, surprisingly enough, which got cut short due to COVID. And during COVID is when he actually became cool with Danny Duncan. For those of you who don't know, Danny Duncan is a YouTuber with close to 6 million subscribers at the time of this recording. We've seen it in the past where guys like Ian Dior and Lil Skies have gotten serious push from hanging out with YouTubers. And the same thing happened for Snot, making his numbers go crazy because Danny Duncan's fans were now exposed to Snot and his music by making appearances in all of his videos. And he was getting a bunch of shout outs from him, claiming he was his favorite rapper, etc. This brings us to Snot's work with Lyrical Lemonade. Snot actually hit Cole Bennett's radar in 2017. And this was partially because he had a ton of SoundCloud buzz, partially because he tweeted at Cole Bennett asking him to make a video, he DM'd him asking to make a video, and a bunch of that stuff. Now, this is speculation, but I don't think at first Cole Bennett was super down to work with Snot just because, you know, Snot DM'd him and tweeted at him and things like that, and Cole wasn't really receptive until further down the line, but this is just speculation, so I may be wrong. But as Cole saw that he was starting to get more mutual friends with Snot, and Snot was really persistent and had the drive of a serious artist, Cole kind of reciprocated the messages. And they had gotten to this weird place where they built a relationship in which Snot would send Cole all the music he was working on, and Cole really wanted to wait until they could find the one. And he said this about multiple artists. He definitely had the same situation going on with Jack Harlow. I'm pretty sure they had the same thing going on with Lil Tecca. But Cole Bennett really likes to wait for the song that's gonna make an artist blow up. Now, they kept on building this relationship and that kind of dynamic until finally one day Snot sent the song Revenge. Now, the funny thing about Snot's song Revenge is that the second verse actually used to be a little bit different. It didn't have different lyrics, it kind of just sounded different. I can't really describe it, so let me just have Cole Bennett describe it to you directly.
When he sent me it, it had a different second verse. It was the same exact verse, but it was in the more up-tempo feel that the rest of Revenge is.
And Cole absolutely loved the song, but he said that Snot needed to do the gritty Snot voice and flow. So about 20 minutes later, Snot sent a re-recorded version over to Cole. And this really showed Cole Snot's work ethic, so he was super down to work right away. Now, after shooting the music video for Snot's Revenge, this kind of opened the floodgates for the Cole Bennett, Lyrical Lemonade, Snot collaborations further. Literally, Snot became the only artist other than Juice WRLD to get back-to-back Lyrical Lemonade videos. So right after Revenge dropped, they actually shot a video for his song Mean featuring Flo Milli, which became a viral TikTok hit right after. More so for Flo Milli's verse, but that's not really important. Following the release of the song Mean, Snot made a bunch of other Lyrical Lemonade appearances. He was on SSG Kobe's song Calabasas. Side note, if you guys want me to make an SSG Kobe documentary, be sure to let me know in the comments. He had his song Whipski featuring Lil Skies, and was even on Cochise's song Tell 'Em. And every single song I just listed premiered on the Lyrical Lemonade channel and were directed by Cole Bennett. These videos were really the icing on Snot's career cake. And that's pretty much it for this video. There are a couple things I left out here and there that were kind of ish important to Snot's building of his fan base, like his live performances where he would get off stage and perform inside of the crowd, or some sort of cosign I think he may have gotten from Trippie Redd. Honestly, I'm not sure whether or not that was a thing. I just remember reading about it a long time ago, so just go with it. But yeah, Snot has been one of my favorite artists in the game for the past year or two, so this video was a ton of fun to make. Despite it being a ton of fun though, it did take me an insane amount of time to put together, so it would be super appreciated if you guys could like this video and subscribe to the channel with notifications on if you're new. Literally every single subscription helps us get closer and closer to being the hottest hip-hop platform on YouTube. Also, be sure to follow us over on Instagram if you're not already. We post daily hip-hop content over there. And yeah, I really love making these videos for you guys, so let me know down in the comment section below who you want me to cover next. I was thinking about covering someone like SSG Kobe, Cash Dami, or DC the Don, but definitely let me know down in the comment section below. I'm super down to hear all of your suggestions. I want to know who you're a fan of. I want to know who you think I should start listening to, and what artists are out there that I haven't discovered yet. But anyways, I hope all of you enjoyed this video, and do me a favor, enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.